Hey all you cool sabers, today we're going to take a look at an equation of a line given a slope and a point. Alright, so first of all, we can find the equation of a line if we know its slope and one point, which is why that's what this lesson's on. Alright, so the slope and 1 point. Alright, that's enough information. So, what we will do is, the first thing we'll do is we'll sub in the given slope. We'll put that in for our m, of course. And then what we'll do is we'll replace the coordinates. This is where people get mixed up here. The x and the y are part of the equation, but we can sub any point that satisfies the equation in, and it will be true, which means if we're given a point, we can substitute that point in for x and y. And that leaves us with only a b missing. It'll be more obvious what I mean when I show you an example, but this will give us y equals mx plus b. Okay? So then we just solve for b. And then what we'll do is we'll rewrite it, dropping the point and just including the slope and the y-intercept. So we'll then know m and we'll know b. All right? So, example number 1. So we're given this slope of -3 and a point of 1, 3. So we're going to write the equation and then we're going to graph the relation. So to begin with, always start by writing out your y equals mx plus b for communication marks, of course. And what we'll do is we'll say, okay, so then we know that m is equal to -3 because that was provided to us. All right, so you can see right now what we're missing then is just that b value. So what you can do is we're going to sub in this point, the 1, 3. So don't get them mixed up because of course they appear in different order because the y is first here. So the y is equal to the 3 and then the x is equal to 1. All right, from there we say -3 times 1 is -3. Okay, we'll move that to the other side. We get 3 plus 3 is equal to b. So we get 6 equals b, which of course is the same thing as saying b is equal to 6. So from there, we now know our b value, so we can just say y is equal to -3x plus 6. Okay? And that's it. It's not too bad. I mean, I make it look easy, but... so what we're going to do here is we are going to graph this. And you can, as always, see that my incredible straight line drawing is just absolutely astounding. Alright, so that's my y-axis, that's my x-axis. Put a little scale on here. We'll go 2, 4, -2, -4. Sometimes people get carried away when they draw a scale. You don't have to draw that much. As long as you've got a scale, you are good. So let's see. So using what we just did, what we just found, we said that our y-intercept was 6. So we know that that is where it crosses the y-axis. And then we have a slope of -3. So we'll go down 3 over 1, down 3 over 1, down 3 over 1. And that is more than enough to draw our perfectly straight line. Okay? And of course we'll label our line. So we'll say y equals -3x plus 6. Now the question is, did we do it right? Which is super easy to check because we have a point on the line that we were given, and that point was 1, 3. So we say, well, is that on this line? And yes, it is, because that's that point right there. That's our 1, 3, which means we did it right. So that's good news. All right, so let's try it again. This time, we're going to write the equation that is parallel to the graph of the, well, so it gives us an equation here. It gives us this equation right here, and it says that it wants us to have a line that is parallel to that. So they often will give you these kind of tricky sounding questions, and they're not actually that hard. what's important is that you remember that two lines that are parallel have the same slope. So the slope in this case is going to be the same as that equation, or as that graph. This line. Line's the word I'm looking for. Okay, and there is our m value right there. So m is equal to 3. All right. Once again, we don't know b. However, we do have an xy right here. Okay. So let's go for it. So let's say y is equal to mx plus b. And we say, well, now I know that y is equal to 7. I'm just subbing everything in at the same time here, which is, of course, allowed. We know that m is equal to 3. That's right there. And then we know x is equal to 4. The only thing we don't know is b. That's no big deal. So we'll say 3 times 4 is equal to 12. So we have 7 is equal to 12 plus b. Right? Move the 12 to the other side. So we get 7 minus 12 is equal to b, which just gives us b is equal to, and 7 minus 12 is negative 5. All right? So we can then say, therefore, y is equal to, and we look over at our old slope, which was 3, x, and then we have a b value of negative 5, so we write minus 5. And that's it. All right? So we'll do one last one here, and I'm going to throw another one of these curveballs at you. So this one says that we want a slope that is so that it's perpendicular to this guy. So last time it was parallel. Remember, parallel lines have the same slope. If they're perpendicular, however, remember that the slopes will be negative reciprocals. So the slope of this one, so this one's slope is equal to negative 5. It's just this number in front of the x. So when we go to do our slope for our line, you're going to take that, and first of all, it was already negative, so you're going to change the sign. So I'll say, sometimes we put this little thing, it's just, it's like an upside down T. It means perpendicular, because it's showing two perpendicular lines, just to clarify. Okay. So it was negative, so it will be positive, and it was 5, so it's going to be 1 over 5. Okay, remember, if it's a fraction, you flip the fraction. If it's not a fraction, you make it 1 over the number. Okay? So from there, we're going to have y equals mx plus b. Okay? And we're going to sub in the new slope that we just discovered, which was 1/5. Okay? I'm going to sub in the point, which is right here. So there's my x, there's my y. So my y is equal to negative 1. My x is equal to 2. All right? So we get negative 1 is equal to, we have 1/5 times 2, which is equal to 2/5 plus b. So we will then move our 2/5 over, and we'll get b is equal to, oh, I shouldn't do it that way. I'll be kind. I'll rearrange it after. We'll get 1, I don't know what just happened, 1 minus 1, and we'll have minus 2/5 is equal to b. All right, so then b is equal to, and we say what's negative 1 minus 2/5? That's going to be negative 7/5. Okay. And remember, you can use your calculator to do those fractions if you can't do them in your head. All right? But what you would have done is you would have made that 1 into a 5 over 5. So that's it, basically. Well, it's not it. We got to write out our answer, I guess. So our final answer is y is equal to 1/5 x minus 7/5. And that's it. Okay, you don't have to change anything to decimals because there's no reason to change anything to decimals. Okay, so why would you do extra work, right? All right, and that's it. So until next time, go Sabres.